On today's episode of the Apex, the podcast, the boys talk to Nocturnal from Team XSET and it was a great interview. It was just an hour long of us just chatting, us talking about his history, what makes XSET such a solid team, why they're always in the top 5, seemingly every single match. We talked about everything under the sun with Nocturnal. It was a great conversation with him. We also talk a little bit about match day 7 before the interview and Enoch's experience with Team E8. And then on the other side of the show, we talk a little bit about the Season 17 teasers and the current state of the game, and then finish it off with the heart-to-heart. So ladies and gents, without further ado, let's get into the show. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. We are here. Day 7 is complete. We're going to go through all the different storylines, all the matches, and talk a little bit to Enoch about Team E8 and the vibes heading into the final day. But before we do all that, let's kick it off and talk to the boys here. E, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling well. Everybody else is like kind of just like not having fun right now with the game. I mean, across gaming as a whole, I feel like nobody's having fun, right? And so I'm doing my best to have fun. And that's been like, again, shout out to the boy Scrappy, that man with the solo to masters on every legend challenge. That is actually, it's just so much fun to just be like, I'll be honest, I feel bad that first day on the account where you're going from bronze to plat. Because like that's like a day's work, and that like it's just, you know, you got to do what you got to do to get through it. But the diamond, like the plat and diamond games are way more fun, and it's actually because like you don't feel as bad rolling through the people who are down there in the ranks. But you actually just get to, like, the whole time you just get to meet people, hang out. Some people have like watched the content before, and so that's always cool. And just be able to have good conversation with randoms, and like IGLing a bunch of randoms is such a good feeling. Like IGLing a team of diamonds to a dub is just such a good feeling. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just a way for me to have a fun time playing the game at a very, 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 very challenging time to have fun playing the game. And it's definitely made my overall mood a lot better. And then just everything else that I'm doing outside of Apex is going well. I'm excited, optimistic, and doing my best to have a good time and enjoying it. What about you guys?
I feel like that's interesting. I try to think about it in this way. Somebody right now, and I can attest, there's a dude that I work with that is playing. He has not stopped. He's been playing Apex for like 14 hours a day because he's like, this is the best moment for him to be playing Apex because he wants to learn. And like, it's weird to think about, but it is like, yes, this may not be the best state of the game at the current moment. I don't think that there's anybody really denying that, but I think that it's fun to think about, from at least from my perspective, that there's people that are having the time of their life right now, like really learning the game of Apex, and I think it's easy to lose that perspective. That being said, I'm not playing Apex outside of ranked right now, or excuse me, I'm not playing Apex outside of work right now, and like the only reason why I really play would be for ranked or realm, but I'm not really doing realm either. So I understand. I think respect to Enoch for like doing the grind of ranked. And I do think there is something to be said about like IGLing a squadron like to a dub. I mean, it is very rewarding because they're probably like, wow, I can't believe, 1, yeah, I got to play with Enoch. 2, I just got this dub for free because he put me in the best spot ever. So that's kudos to you, E. My week's been good. I have had a very busy week, but I have had a good week. And so I can't complain here. Wyatt, you got to start by talking about the Avalanche game last night, because I did watch the Avalanche game in honor of Wyatt last night, and they lost. So I'm going to stop watching because I think I might be a bad jinx.
Listen, it's last year we won the Stanley Cup, and it was quite possibly one of the easiest runs to a championship I've had to watch because we swept 2 of the 3 series before the Stanley Cup, and then we won in Game 6. We probably could have won in 5 games. There was a close game like in the Stanley Cup, so it was very easy. And the one thing I have to remember is when we went into last season, we were just a juggernaut team. I think we were like minus money to win the Stanley Cup. And usually that doesn't happen in the NHL. Usually that's not like a thing. Usually the NHL playoffs is a grind. It's grueling, and it still was grueling as a fan who had never actually watched their team win before. So there was moments where I was slipping up, but it was hard last year. This year I'm getting back to into the normal grind and realizing that to win the Stanley Cup is not easy at all. No matter what seed you are, no matter what team you're playing against. Most of these this isn't the NBA. Like most of these series go 6 or 7 because these teams they just kind of adapt to get used to each other, and that's kind of what's happening this year. We're playing the brand new team, the Seattle Kraken team. They're playing really well. I'm not going to take anything away from them. We're tied 2-2 going home, but we just lost a guy to a suspension for 1 game, one of our best players. So I'll see how we bounce back. I'm not like too upset with how we've played. The only thing I will say is going down 2-0 like the last 3 games in a row and then having to fight back to tie it and then eventually like take the lead and win. Like that's not all. You're not going to win a whole lot of like series that way. But we've managed to come back in all the games. So hopefully game 5 we're going to be able to take advantage despite the fact that we're going to be down one of our best guys, but I think we could still do it. It's going to be a tough series no matter what. I just enjoy playoffs. I just enjoy watching hockey, so I'm feeling good. And I'd be more happy to see you watch and enjoy yourself than to just not, because my team might not win, because I did have a team. They won last year, so not to say that like last year's everything, but it was like, it's not the end of the world. So I'd much rather have you watch it. But other than that, yeah, congrats Enoch, because this game sucks right now, and I hate this game right now. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's really bad. It's in like a terrible state. We've got guys dropping left and right. So to find any positivity is a huge plus. So I'm happy to see Enoch grinding out there. He was doing a TikTok live earlier. I hopped in, was listening to him talk to the fans a little bit.
What'd you think?
I thought it was interesting because I've seen a lot of your like usually you don't do something like that where it was just cam on the face talking to the crowd. So I hopped in there. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I thought it was a good idea. Thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I needed to get a stream in of like at least 30 minutes in order to get a stream key. I think my agency is going to work with TikTok to get like the stream key. And since they changed the rules, I'll be able to stream on Twitch and TikTok at the same time.
Yeah.
And so
I saw Lulu
that I'm
doing
thinking
that.
about doing. I'm gonna peep it and see what happens, because I mean it's just free attention,
Yeah.
And so I've been throwing that opportunity for too long, and now I'm getting on it. And so I was gonna do it with I had done, because typically I just throw it up to just let people know, I'm streaming on Twitch, and then I said like, oh, that was the last time. So this time I didn't want to do that, and so I was just like, let me just crank this 30 minutes, or let me just get it out of the way, and I just hopped in. I ended up going for like over 40 because I was having fun.
Yeah,
Just
no, it was
talking
cool.
and answering.
Yeah, no, anything to generate hype right now is huge. Because like I said, it's dark right now. It's dark, and I'm gonna have all my thoughts and stuff after the interview. We're gonna talk a little bit more about season 17, some of the ballistic stuff that's coming our way, and then our thoughts on the current state of the game. But before we get into all that good, juicy stuff, let's actually start talking about game day 7. ALGS split 2. We had ourselves a ball. Another 6 games coming right at you. Let's go through the standings real quick. Team XSET, of course, once again at the top of the standings. XSET in first place with 66 points. Second place, 100 Thieves. Glitch Energy right there below them at 49 points. And then fourth and fifth, Furia and NRG, respectively, are winners of each game. XSET won the first game of the day. Team Inters won the second game. Glitch Energy won the third. 100 Thieves won the fourth. Luminosity comes in clutch with a win in round 5. And then round 6, Optic Gaming closed out the day with the win. Lots of different stuff here to talk about, but just looking over the overall standings here, you can see that there was obviously the good teams are standing out. They're at the top. XSET, 100 Thieves, Glitch Energy starting to have a little bit of more of a comeback. Remember, they started the season hot, kind of got cold there in the middle, and now they come back with a good placement for them, Furia, NRG. And then just outside of that, we have Optic, who's currently tied for first place. Luminosity, with a much-needed better day. I might be too late for them, but we'll see. E8 sitting there at 12, Tripods at 15th. Oxygen Gaming at 16th, CLG at 18th. Some other notable names. Boys, let's kick it off here. Let's go right into the games, right into the day. B versus C. How'd you guys? What were some storylines that stood out to you guys in day 7?
Well, I think the first thing has to be said. I beforehand, I don't know what all happened or what all was said in the DMs, but a lot of people are planning other people's demise, their other people's downfall to try and make sure these teams are not qualifying for LAN, they're not qualifying for regionals, all that sort of stuff. So there was a lot, and so because of that, I'm going to read what Minus Tempo has put on his Twitter to explain. He said, World Edge, I can't say who is going where anymore. Teams changing drop spots last minute. He said, number 1, Oxygen Esports swapped with Dark Zero at some point. Number 2, Luminosity went Siphon thinking they were contesting Oxygen, but ran into Dark Zero. Number 3, Optic said, where did Luminosity go? Find their trail and went to third party at Siphon, not even looting like Lava City or Mod, just to go and grief Luminosity. So the question is, did Oxygen know, and that's why they swapped? Did Optic know they were who they were third partying? Who is the who in this mess of a 4 teams got played? Was there collusion? The drama continues as we go on to next week. And I couldn't say it more. It was very confusing at the beginning because it was like, wait, no one's contesting at Big Mod. Everybody's now contesting at Lava Siphon. What just happened? And this is all because, one, the match days are uneven, right? We had teams that had 3 days played. We had teams that have already had 5 days played. Because of that, there is going to be strategy involved on trying to grief teams. Now, you may not like that, and I think there's probably something to be said about it, but I understand why you would do something, right? If a good team has a potential chance of not making it and you have a you're in a secure spot to be able to know that you're going to make regionals, would you try your best to make sure that a not as strong team makes it over a strong team, right? And so you would go and grief.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not even just like they're trying to get them out because it's like another good team. It's because I believe that they chowed them for Mod
and
so
down
obviously and down, so at both places.
They did.
Yeah, so obviously Optic does not want to, because when you get to LAN, you do not want to contest, especially at LAN. And so if you're Optic if you're Optic, it's the obvious play. You are going to do whatever you can, given the spot that you've performed at a level to get you to this point that you can then use and leverage to go out of your way to grief Luminosity and make them do as poorly as they can do, so that way you don't get chowed at LAN. And so you can say that it's bad or poor form. I think that it's complete. You can think that it's shady. I just think it's smart. If I'm going to LAN and I know that a team is borderline, and that if I grief them, I don't get chowed at LAN, I'm griefing that team 10 times out of 10. I don't care what people are going to think about it. If my job is to get to LAN and then do well, I'm going to do whatever I can do outside of cheating in order to make that happen. And so I completely understand where Optic's coming from. And it's It's a viable strat.
In Optics in like such a good spot right now that it made sense. Like I think, I mean,
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
and because they've earned it. They've
Right.
earned the ability to play their game to grief luminosity.
Yeah,
they've earned that privilege.
But I do feel bad because it's their added advantage though, because Optics played more games. Like they know that they're in that spot. Yes, they've worked their way into that. But imagine it flip flopped, right? Like it's just like it would suck if it was on the opposite.
Either team. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Either way, it sucks. But I mean, like that's just. I guess it goes down to like trying to do their best to make sure that it's as even as possible in terms of games played. Because I think at one point there were teams that had played 5 days, and where some teams had only played 3, which is like 100% just a scheduling. What are we doing here? But I mean, I guess that might be bound to happen given the.
I don't know about the
given
math.
the format.
Yeah. I'm not a math guy.
Never mind. Let's cut this part out.
No, we're keeping it. No, silly. Hold on. We're keeping it because normally I always.
You probably, I take it back. Given the 3 league situation, I'm sure it was bound to happen mathematically, which is just unfortunate in itself. But I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages that are going to be inherent with that, because some teams are going to look at okay, we've only played 3 games. And these teams have played 5, they'll look at it as like, okay, we know the level that we need to perform at. And then obviously in other teams, it's not going to work out in their favor. And so, yeah, it is what it is. And you just got to make the best out of it. And it's unfortunate for Luminosity, but they can still find a way. Can they? Are they close? Let me look. Overall standings.
My bad, I was on mute. Yeah, they can. They 100%
They can definitely.
But I believe they do not, like, the next day that they're playing, Optic will not be in the lobby. So
they just got to capitalize.
Yeah, it's just
they've been put in
capitalizing
a
and
tough
making
spot,
sure.
and now they need to do their best to pop off.
Yeah, and like realistically, they're in a pretty good spot as long as they just like don't flop.
Dude, and what's going to be dope is if Luminosity does well. On April 29th, round 3, and they're going into it very borderline whether or not they're going to make land. That last day, the last day of round 3 is B versus C, where they'll be playing Optic basically for a guaranteed spot at land if the things line up, which I think is a very interesting storyline.
Yeah, it'll depend on points wise. Like I think Optic's already.
Oh, I mean, Optic's good. No, I mean, like Luminosity will basically
be for Luminosity. It'd be for LG.
I think that's a cool storyline that Luminosity, if they're going to get to land, has to do it while contesting a team who is literally praying and actively working against working to their downfall.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I think it'll be. But this is the stuff Wyatt always talks about it, man. Like Wyatt's always like, we need more drama in the Apex Legends scene, and I agree with that. Like I think there is something to be said about storylines and drama and how it like makes an esport better. So, I mean, I'm in.
Yeah, we just we get the drama on the Bluebird. I think if they could translate it onto the broadcast, that's where we would get a lot more draw, because then people would start to open up and understand a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes. For us who have been on the Bird app, we already know, but not everybody who watches gets that dynamic of it. So I would love to see them bring a little bit more of that to the broadcast. And it doesn't have to be dark. It doesn't have to be like pointing fingers at anybody. It's just bringing something to light so others can be like, oh, that's interesting, and go from there. Another storyline. Can we talk about NRG really having just one of the quieter splits? Like, it feels like NRG is always like at the top of a topic of discussion. We've barely talked about NRG. They have another like decent day. They get 5th, right? They're sitting around 9th. They haven't had that one day where they pop off and everybody's like, this is NRG. This is what we know. This is crazy. NRG's back. But they're still hanging around. It just feels like we haven't really said their name too often during the split. Seems like we've had a lot of other teams that we've been talking about here. What have you guys been seeing from NRG, and do we still feel like they are in the contention here right now, but do we still feel like if they go to LAN, they'll be a dangerous team to go ahead and take the whole damn thing?
If they make it to LAN, I feel like they're just automatically a contention to win it. And I think that just goes without needing to be said, but maybe we do on this podcast, as one of our members thought that they weren't going to make it to match day last LAN.
I mean, that's kind of why I brought it up. Like, we haven't talked about it at all.
I think they 100%, if they do, like, I 100% think that they have the ability to qual. I think that they've had a very unfortunate season as far as unfortunate seasons go for NRG. They've been really suffering with the problems that everybody's experiencing, but it appears to be hitting them particularly hard. But even with that being said, they're still doing like against other teams, like doing very, very well. They're in 9th right now, and they still have 1 day left to play. So their LAN possibilities are very much alive. And yeah, as I said, I think if they do make it to LAN, they 100%, they should be considered a team that has the potential to win it, regardless of what seed they are going into it. IMO.
Just looking at their placements right now throughout all the days, they had a 5th, an 8th, and then a 15th, and then another 5th right here with their most recent run. It's so weird. I just feel like we've said more about them, talked more about them usually by this point. I just feel like we haven't really brought them up that much. It's just very odd.
I think they're one of the teams that have been trying to kind of figure out their identity with all these other teams also figuring out their identity with the changes of Legends. I think they've just been kind of caught up in that, and specifically in their team fighting, there's been a lot of just getting caught out. Like a lot of their, it's not necessarily their micro calls, but I think it was more so in their team fights. It's been, people have been getting caught out. Like, I've seen it multiple times. I mean, Sweet's been one of, like, it's been a lot on Guild, unfortunately. Like, especially early on, Guild was just getting caught out in a lot of these fights and like being the first to get picked. And because of that, they're gonna, I mean, it's hard to win on the back foot all the time. But I mean, this team has a super high skill ceiling, though. Like, we know that they have a super high ceiling, but it's more so what kind of NRG are we getting every single day? I mean, a 5th place is like not what we would expect from NRG. Like, if that is their highest placing, they have 3 of them, and it's all like they get 5th place, and it's like, you know, that means like that means that they have like at least 2 games or like 1 good game, like, so. But they can't have they haven't had a complete day yet, which is a bit concerning if you're an NRG fan and you're wanting to see. You want them to have a good round 3, which would be day 9. You would want them to have a good day 9 in order to maybe find that form before going into regional finals to like auto qual on into LAN. But like, I mean, the only people that are, I think, that are auto qualified right now are Optic and XSET, and I think maybe technically DZ, depending on how they do on day 9. But like, there's a lot of these teams right now that are not necessarily in the auto qual contention, and it'll come down to the finals day, which is pretty insane to think about. But yeah, I guess to stop on that NRG tangent, they haven't had a complete day where they put like 3 games or more together in a high placing, decent kill, like, type of deal.
I just looked right now too. They haven't won a single match in the second split. So they've gotten 2nd places. I think they have 2, and then they have 4 third places, but they haven't actually like pulled out a win in this entire split. There's only one other team in the top 10 that hasn't done that, and that is the Meat Lovers. So all the other teams have, you know, obviously Optic and XSET 4 wins. A lot of teams have 3. Wildcard actually has 1, but the only other team is the Meat Lovers. So very interesting, very weird. But like you said, they're still good enough to be hanging around 5th every single time. It's not like they're not going to be a thorn in team sides. It's just they haven't had that one day where you look at them and they're like, wow, incredible great performance by NRG. I just wanted to bring that up because I did think it was a little bit interesting. Anything else that stood out to you guys from this day?
Yeah, Glitch Energy is pretty good on Stormpoint, and they had if they even at all had like a a decent World's Edge, they win this day. Like they win day 7 because they got a 3rd place, a 2nd place, and a 1st place all on Stormpoint, and then they get a 16th, and 19th, and 18th place all with no kills. Like this, we know we've had Aiden on. Like we know how strong this team is at team fighting, and like they have a ton of potential. Granted, they had a lot of zones that were favorable on Stormpoint since they do land Barometer. So a lot of zones were coming middle to like lower end edge of the map. But I mean, they at least capitalized on those zones whenever they had them. But that was my first thought was whenever I saw like their placings on Stormpoint, I was like, oh, okay, this could be their day, right? Like we've talked about Glitch Energy and how they've kind of dropped off, and it was good to see them get a 3rd place, but like they had a lot of chances, I think, to actually win this day, but they couldn't put it together on World's Edge, which is we find that a lot with a lot of these teams where like I mean, thinking of Luminosity specifically, where they used to be only good on Stormpoint, but then their World's Edge where they couldn't put it together. And like there's other teams that have that same type of thing, but it's I don't know. In order to win these days, you just have to have consistency, and we didn't see that on World's Edge from Glitch Energy, but they did have a bounce back day. So that was another thing that I saw that I wanted to point out.
Yeah, my experience for watching the tournament was very different than all of mine leading up to this, as I was very much dialed in and focused on my team and wasn't really paying attention to what was going on outside of that. And for us as a team, our day didn't quite go the way that we would have wanted. Definitely, we did a new comp for the first day, which the boys wanted to run it, and I was confident in them enough to like let them do it. Whether or not that was the right decision, I still don't know. But we did learn a lot. We still got 2 days left to play. We did well enough to keep us in contention for LAN, at least in my opinion. If we have 2 banger days, we definitely make top 10 and we'll be looking really nice. And so I definitely fully expect this team to continue to improve and to make it to LAN. And I'm excited to see the stuff that we'll be incorporating over this next week and what we'll be bringing and showing up with on this next weekend of competing.
You guys had like, it looks like you guys just kept dying mid game, like going into ring 4, like ring 5. Yeah, ring 4.
With the comp that we're doing, it's a very much like early rotate.
Ash?
Yeah, it's Ash, Lobo, Rampart. And so we early rotate, and then we have Ash to get from spot to like if we need to get it from spot to spot, and then you use the Lobo to loot around it. Sven, I get what you're saying. It has potential. It has potential. And
if Ash's distance had more, bro, then maybe. But dude, we're not Wyatt out here, bro.
You can have your opinion. You're entitled to it. But we're giving it a go.
Ash.
We believe in the Ash Lobo Rampart, and we in this like there were so many circumstances where I felt like if we had more time on it, that we would have performed a lot better. We did have just like a lot of unfortunate things that end up happening. There's just small mistakes each game that cost it. Like our first game could have been a easy dub, but literally Rambo gets 100 banger naded into zone and is on double R9 and one clips both of our guys.
That was
like,
insane.
If he doesn't get like 100, like literally if he doesn't get 100 bang naded into zone, they probably lose that. Like I think my team wins that fight. Like if he doesn't take that crazy off angle and just shoot them in the back from zone and then insta die right after, like we're in such a good spot and it's just such a good game. And then a whole lot of things for the rest of the day look a little bit different. But we've had a lot of days of just unfortunate things happening and not going our way. And for the most part, I'm happy with how well they've maintained a more positive mental state, because this team, while they haven't done like picture perfect job of doing that, it's significantly better than where they could go with it. And so I think that we are slingshot prepped. We are ready to just come into this last weekend and absolutely pop off and pave our way to land. And we will see what happens.
Are days 8 and 9 for you guys in the same weekend?
Yes, it's Saturday, then Sunday. So I won't be coaching on the Saturday, but then I will be hopping back in on Sunday.
I like the idea of having 2 days back to back. Like I think you go into it. I think no matter what outcome you have on the Saturday, going into Sunday, you're going to have like a very focused group. Whether you have a bad day and you're just like, okay, we really need to focus on this one, you're going to have a focus group going into Sunday. Or if you have like an absolute pop-off day, let's say, for instance, you get a 21 or like an 18, then they know, okay, all we got to do is close this thing out and we can find ourselves in a good land spot. I was doing some of the math. You guys would be hovering around like 72 points if you got first place, which I know is not easy to do, but it would immediately put you right in the middle of that top 10. So it's definitely still possible. And you guys have the back-to-back days. I think that really helps out. I
do feel bad for the teams that are in like the 21 to 20, like 5-ish range whenever the last day comes. Like it would be day 9, the day before regionals, because those are the teams that are going to be getting hard griefed because they don't want those teams to be making it to top 20 to qualify for the regionals. So I know, I am sure it helps a lot that E8 is at least having the Saturday games, because the Saturday game because if not, I just like, I feel bad for the teams that don't play Saturday and that have to play Sunday and that are on the bubble, because it's like, those teams are going to get griefed and those games are going to be so scuffed because they'll probably have to land at different POIs, like hot drop, like spontaneous drop, to try and like make sure that they aren't getting griefed. So I mean, but that's the beauty of this. So I mean, I'm ready for the Twitter beef, as Wyatt says on the Bluebird. Like there's going to be a lot of chirping going on for sure. But I guess going back to day 7. I mean, XSET had a really solid performance. Obviously, they win, but I mean, I think they have the fundies. I keep saying it, but the fundies, bro. You got to have the fundamentals, and I feel like they've done a really good job of being able to showcase that. We talk about that with Nocturnal in the interview. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. It's a banger.
It's a
I'm
fire
really
interview.
impressive. Wait, what?
I said it's a fire interview.
It is, dude. I actually, I loved that a lot.
One of my favorites for sure.
Something to like look. I mean, to look at is Optic. If they don't have a good banger last game, they probably fall like 15th or 14th place, which is crazy. That one game can just absolutely define your day, and that's what E was saying. Like, imagine their first game. Imagine E8's first game. You guys don't get bodied, and then you have like a top 3 with like 4 kills or 5 kills. That trajectory of your game goes a lot different. I'm a little disappointed to see Synox's showcase on Oxygen's first day. Like, I mean, they didn't do very well. They had a 20th. They got 16th overall, and I think the Synox pickup, you're kind of wanting more. Granted, they didn't have a lot of time to practice, so I'll give them that. But I am a little sad to see that, as well as we talked about GE kind of having a drop off. CLG has also had a little bit of a drop off that is kind of sad. It's sad to see. I wish that team was able to be performing better than they currently are, especially just given the circumstances with the organization of CLG and how it's just how esports are right now. And there's a lot of esports teams that are kind of going under, which is unfortunate.
Can I
But
throw one out there real quick?
I would love for you to.
Okay. I went on Enoch's. This is gonna sound like I was just stalking his TikTok this week, but there was another video of his that popped up on my page, and it was some commenter had talked about like Nick Merckx or something like that. And Enoch responded and was just like, "Hey, dude, honestly, I think it was about Nick Merckx getting upset at when he was trying to do his solo to Masters, and Enoch was basically like, dude, he's got 20,000 people watching him, probably trying to stream snipe. I can't imagine how much bullshit he has to go through just to do this. Like, I don't blame the guy for being pissed off." And I was expecting like sympathetic comments, being like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't think of it from that perspective." I opened up that comment section. It was a war zone of hate. I don't know why people hate Nick Merckx so much, but I just want to shout out Nick Merckx and the Tripods and say that first game, they got the fourth place with 8 kills. They had a banger game. They had a really solid game. The day didn't turn out quite the way they wanted it to, but I'm just going to shout out anything positive for the Tripods because I just didn't I knew people didn't like Nick Merckx for whatever reason. I can't figure that out. I don't know why commenters hate him so much, but like they had a really good day. They had a really solid game, or sorry, they had a really solid game. Not the best day, but they're slowly still climbing. They're near the bottom of the standings, but they're still working on stuff, man. Like this guy, people act like this guy's been playing pro the whole time. He hopped over from like his 7th game that he played professionally, hopping over to a new game. I just don't understand the hatred, but yeah, I'm sure you see more than I do, but it was. I just want to highlight a very good game from the Tripods. Somebody asked us last week or 2 weeks ago if they thought Tripods could win a game in ALGS, and I 100% think so. They had a very good chance in that first game. I think the only issue is they kind of came in on the wrong side of the circle, and that kind of fucked them because there was no cover for them. They had to like run in towards this little embankment, and it was pretty easy. All the other I think the final 3 teams were all sitting on this building watching them run in. So unfortunate for them. But I want to highlight a good game because people are just mean. I don't know why. I have no clue why.
Well, Nick's been trying to be like their micro IGL. Like they have kind of transitioned. They're trying to transition at least, or at least it seems like it. We talked about it with Enoch, like maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, about tripods and how like they needed to have whoever is going to be making the final call make the final call. And it seems like Nick has been trying to do that in Realm and trying to then take that Realm experience and put that into their pro league games for their micro, specifically just their fighting and taking fights and how to position in fights. And I think that's just going to take time. One, because Realm is not the same as Pro League. It's similar, but it does not play out the same, especially mid to late game. But I do understand what they are wanting to do. I just hope that this team doesn't like lose faith that they're not going to be able to get better, because I do think that they can get better. But yeah, that's just something like a reiteration is like this team is still changing. It's like the oxygen situation, sort of, but like they're still trying to figure out their IGLing, and it showcases all the teams that are in the top 10 have a strong IGL. Like, and I don't think that that's, I mean, I don't think that that's crazy to think about, but it's like IGLs are so important. Like, that's the reason why they're considered the best players in the world. Like, yes, you can be mechanical, but if you can't like bring your team to a win, if you can't put your team in the right spot, like your team's going to fail. And because of that, I mean, all these teams are in the bottom 5 of the pro league. They don't have a strong hard IGL, or at least they haven't had an established pro, like an established. I guess you could. No, that's actually just true. Yeah, I guess you can maybe say Retzi on Rise, but unfortunately they're not doing very well. But I mean, if you just look at the leaderboard, it is so strong IGL heavy, and I don't think that that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight it. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was weird. I just came across a video and just caught my interest. Definitely caught my interest. Okay, let's move on into the overall standings and then send you guys into our awesome interview with Nocturnal. Overall here, our top 10, Optic Gaming and XSET are tied for first. In third, we've got Dark Zero, FaZe sitting at fourth, 100 Thieves at fifth, Meat Lovers sitting at sixth, Complexity seventh, Wildcard Gaming at eighth, ninth is NRG, and 10th is Furia. Now, to round out this top 10, remember, the top 10 will go to LAN. It's a very close race from about fourth place down to 10th. You've got 72, 69, 68, 67, 65, 62, 61. That rounds out the top 10. So these final 2 days are really going to change and shake up everything here. We could see a team that's been hovering around in the top 10 this whole time completely drop out of the bottom, and we may see a team jump out who hasn't been top 10, like TSM sitting right there at 12th. They could jump right back in if they have one of the days we know that they're capable of. So those are the top 10 teams. Some of the teams sitting just outside, remember, 10th place, 61 points. We go from 11th down to about 17th is pretty close. 17th, 18th. We've got 61, 59, 51, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 38. So it's all right there. One day could change anything for one of these teams. And the reason I throw 18th in there is the E8 factor. They do have 2 back-to-back days. So they have played way less days than most of the other people out there. And then we have that final day. But those are the overall standings right now. Okay. Ladies and gents, we're going to throw it on down to a team that doesn't have to worry about being locked in right now because for whatever reason, they just win everything. They just do their thing. They don't mind. We're going to throw it down to Nocturnal from Team XSET. It was an hour-long interview with Nocturnal. It was awesome, very well-spoken, very easy to talk to, and he goes through a bunch of different stuff, including some of his past and how or why he feels like his team is so successful. So we're going to hit a quick ad, and on the other side, you'll hear from Nocturnal. All right, ladies and gents, we got him. He's here. Nocturnal from Team XSET, currently tied for first place in the second split of ALGS right now. I'm going to start off this interview with a crazy stat right here. I don't even know if it's that crazy. I feel like it's a stat everybody knows. But you guys are tied for first place with Optic Gaming with only 4 days under your belt. Everybody else in the top 10 has 5, except for the 10th place team, Furia, sitting at 61 points. I mean, you guys are tearing it up out there. You guys were tearing it up in the first split. It seems like you guys are always just tearing it up. I guess my first question is, why are you guys so awesome? Why are you guys so good? What makes you guys gel so well to where you guys don't even need the extra day? You could honestly go into this and not play all the allotted days, and you'd still probably qualify for LAN. Like, what is so good about Team XSET, in your opinion?
I think it's just team cohesion, really. Like if I had to nail it to one thing, it'd be we work together. We don't fight with each other. We don't get mad at each other. We are friends in and out of the game. We keep it that way. We don't get personal. We don't call each other dumbasses. We don't call each other fucking idiots. Sorry if that's a little much, but yeah, we don't ever attack each other. We approach this thing as a team game. We simply are just friends in and out. We're trying to have fun, and our fun is currently just winning everything. Well, top 3ing everything, I would say, because winning is a little, much.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at right now. It seems like you guys have basically done everything you've needed to do except for take home that final trophy, that final game. Going into this next split, you guys got very close last time. This time you're going to have another opportunity to go at it. What have you learned along the way where it's like, okay, in our first few times together, this was our misstep. What's going to be your focus going into LAN? Because you're going to make it. Like, there's no doubt you guys are going to make LAN. What's going to be that final nail in the coffin for you guys to be hoisting that trophy at the end of it?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, a top 3 for me towards LAN is a first place. Like, every other one's like fighting for first place, but like a top 3 would make me happy at the end of the day, honestly. When we got second in Sweden, we got 4th in London, like those are all massive accomplishments to me. So like, even if I don't get the trophy, it's still like a top 3 would just make me just so happy. So realistically, we're just going to carry our confidence in, and that's all that really matters. As long as we're confident and we're working as a team, there's nothing that's going to stop us.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because in this type of environment, in like a BR environment, there's so many variables that can kind of alter, a finals, that it's like, you know what, with all the RNG that goes on, if we just get in that little that little top zone right there. That's all we really care about. Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's like controlling our space and making sure we can make endgame, because like endgame, there's some like statistic out there where Storm Point, like if we make it top 5, we have a 25% chance to win the game, and like that statistic is fucking ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. So we just play our game. We don't go like full aggressive. We don't go full zone positions. Like just play our game, play zone, play our space, and make sure nobody can push us. Because like if you can't push us, then even if you do push us, like chances are you're probably not going to beat us anyways. And I'd rather play my own game than and keep you at like a 60-meter radius than take a 3v3 and have anything could happen.
Yeah. So coming off of this like past land, would you say that 4th place was like necessarily like disappointing to you guys? Were you guys going into this like split 1 playoffs thinking, riding the momentum of what you guys did during the first split into land? Because I would love to just hear like going into it, like how much confidence you had, and then I know Wyatt said like the adjustments that you guys made, but like just bring it back to that land situation.
Honestly, this 4th place felt better than our 2nd place in Sweden. Like it felt like we played all of our options, but sometimes things just don't work out in the end. But I feel like we played all of our options. We played our hands. We played as much as physically possible. We literally gave it our all. And I know there's probably like stuff where Sykes was fucking crying after land. Like he was obliterated. But like this dude came 4th in his first land. And I remember just sitting there being pissed off, seeing this dude cry in front of me because we just played our hearts out. And like it sucks to see someone else win, but that 4th was probably the most like hard fought and well played we've ever done. So no, I carried that momentum and the confidence, and I was incredibly happy.
One of the things we talk about with different teams is like for Storm Point, you guys usually are landing Cascade, but on World's Edge, you guys are landing Trials. And those are completely kind of different play styles, or at least from a POI's perspective, it is different. Like, World's Edge being a little bit more on edge POI, and then, Cascade, you're playing more zone. And so I would love to hear your like thoughts on like maybe some strategy wise as to why you guys chose those POIs. Maybe like doing some deep dive with Hotsick or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, originally I wanted to go fish farms in Storm Point, but he was just like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, why not just land Cascades? Because Cascades is essentially just like the old Frag East, where you can get really good loot, you can do fast rotates, you can play slower if you need to, or if you're on beacon. Honestly, the 2 play styles kind of just like keeps it fresh, because you're playing hard edge on 1, unless you somehow get a miraculous northwest zone, or you're playing a faster rotate style where you get decent loot, not the best, but you get probably rotates to like almost like maybe like 70% of the zones, honestly, on top of like a high beacon chance rate and crafting if we do decide to do that. But it's just a nice change of pace, honestly. Like every single game, it's 2 different play styles, constantly just fresh gameplay. And I don't know, I personally am like indifferent with playing position. Like I think it's kind of boring, not gonna lie. When we played in London, we played more of an edge play style and more hyper aggressive, and took the time to craft, took the time to get some armors up. And when we were playing edge from Cascades, it wasn't a bad play style, but it was definitely a lot more fun than just sitting in ring and hoping the best for rotates and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's pretty fun from both POIs.
Something that I want to get into is that you said like the biggest thing that sticks out for you guys is how strong your team cohesion is and just you guys being friends. And something that Hotsick had talked about a little bit during our interview was how important that boot camp you guys did before London land. And so can you get into that a little bit and talk about how that related to your guys' like team chemistry as a whole, and that like any amount of bonding that might have taken place?
I mean, we did a bunch of content for XSET and like, talked about our feelings, talked about our, our relationships, I guess is a word I'd say. We don't even like really play much Apex in bootcamp. We shake off the jet lag. We enjoy the scenery. We enjoy the surroundings. Enjoy like a bunch of people that we can meet up with. It's It's not. It's a very atypical boot camp. We did it with Sweden. We did it with North Carolina. Like, it's very chill, very relaxing. Just becoming friends again, getting familiar with ourselves, and getting familiar with like some of the stuff that we fucking hate about each other. It's just like it's just a lot of being friends and being workers second. Even though it's like obviously we focus up when it comes to like streams and stuff like that, but it's very surreal to just be 3 or 4 people deep or 5 people deep with my manager and just being in that environment, in that surrounding, and it just helps you lock it in, and it's incredible. I wish every team had the opportunity to boot camp, but unfortunately it's pretty expensive. It's simply really expensive to do that kind of stuff, and if you're not taking advantage of the content, then it's not really worth it for most people.
You just mentioned that team camaraderie is huge, and you just so happen to be living with fun FPS. Both of y'all being Brandons, I think that's awesome and hilarious at the same time. What would you say? And also, he lives with Monsoon as well. So, and then what was the new
That boy Zeto.
Zeto, yeah.
Zeto?
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a full house of gamers.
Talented gamers.
Yeah, talented gamers. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear how it is living with those 3 guys, and then just maybe the team camaraderie, as like how you guys rally around Sykes, and whenever he kind of stepped into those shoes for you guys when you guys needed him.
The house is like, it's not even friends at this point. It's like literally just a family. Like, we all came from struggles in our own background. Like, Fun has issues with his family. I have issues with my family. Mon is, he's struggled his whole childhood too. So we came from like a bunch of friends who hated our surroundings, literally moved in together and changed our lives for the better. We're all just like literally best friends. We can go into each other's room and ask, hey, you want to go take a walk? You want to go to the grocery store? You want to go for sushi? You want to go for like pho? Anything. Like, it is a irreplaceable like friendship that we probably will never forget for the rest of our lives. It's really nice. And for Sykes, like he was here for like 2 or 3 weeks for some pro league because his internet was being really bad. He's a much needed like he's like a new energy since Guild, because Guild was like professional fun and Sykes is like chaotic fun, where it's like this guy will say some absolutely stupid shit in the middle of like a fight and you'll just laugh at him and then just kill the team in front of you. Like, he's a he's a complete wild card, and it's like really nice to just get caught off guard by some of the stuff he says or some of the stuff he does, because he'll just be like in front of somebody guy randomly and just, oh, he's dead, and we're just like why did you do that? Like, we don't want to fight here. Like,
When are you gonna let him loose on the caustic?
That's
what the people want to know.
I mean, honestly, I want first place. So somebody said in a Reddit thread where I read, and I was like, they could literally let him IGL, let Sykes IGL, and I was like, man, I could not fucking imagine letting that guy IGL for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I'd be full gray hair. I'd be hating my life. We actually let him IGL 1 game, and we let him IGL 1 game, and we will never do that again. Just never. Nope. That guy, it was like a north like train yard zone where like the ends on the RV and the sniper tower, and this dude just sat us in fucking skyhook the whole game, and I was just like, okay. But I mean, honestly, we're kind of cooking in scrims. Like, when it comes to World's Edge, and we don't really need to practice our World's Edge and give people advantages, so we just play like random comps the past like 4 weeks, and we've had some caustics, we have some Maggies, we've had some fuses, get some rates. Like, it's a lot of fun. So maybe if he locks it the fuck in, we'll put him on caustic, but like, it's not looking good for him. Like, little bro is not doing well.
I mean, it's super interesting, and it's an interesting dynamic to have, one of your teammates living with you. And like you said, Sykes was there for a little bit, but there has to be, if you say it's a family, one thing I know about family is they don't always get along. Has there ever been like an awkward situation between you and Fun, like maybe after a scrim, maybe after a match day, maybe whatever it may be? Has there ever been like a weird, awkward, like, we got to talk this out type situation?
Usually it's like directly related to his family, or he's just like not in his own head. He's in his own head. He's not having a good time. He's like obviously very miserable, where it's like, okay, he's not having a good time. Me and Fun have only fought. Well, it wasn't really a fight. It was like a one-sided lash out towards me, where he just kind of like, I was laughing at him. It triggered like a sense in him where it's just like, I fucking hate this, like stop laughing at me, and it just instantly snapped, and he just like said some words. I was like, holy fuck, shut down immediately mentally. And after that, I was like, that was a one-time thing. It never happened again. I learned my lesson, and we also like, developed from that. But realistically, it's mostly just external stuff. It's never, we don't clash ever. Like me or Mon, me or Fun and Mon, no one clashes at all.
Do you have one, Finn?
Well, I was mainly gonna say, like, you and Fun have been playing for quite a long time, and same with Hot. I mean, Hot's been coaching for you guys. I mean, he was one of the first coaches, if not the first coach that I can think of in.
I think he was, yeah, something
or
like
Apex. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the first serious one at least.
Well,
And-
CLG had Jake, I think, right? Back in
Yeah, I think-
like X Games days. Like I think he's still the coach for like 5 years now, yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Right. I guess notable. I mean, it's not saying that Jake isn't notable, because I think just people knew Hod because Hod had played on
Yeah.
PK and like been in doing all those same tournaments at the same time. But when we had Hod on, he talked so much about the way that you guys have like this special dynamic and how you guys have grown as individuals. And I know you mentioned that, like, the family situation, we don't have to like get into that and how you guys view each other as family, but especially early on, like Hod said, like, I can't believe they trusted me, like, as like a coach at the beginning. So what was it from maybe your perspective that you saw in Hod, and how would you say that he has affected the way that y'all have performed lately and like, in the past?
I mean, hell, my relationship with Hod's like what 3 or 4 years now. God, what I originally wanted from Hod was like a voice of reason, because like I wasn't really solidified with Team Liquid. I was just a player, wasn't a captain, wasn't like an IGL, or wasn't like solidified at all. So I wanted someone with a voice of reason to help me deal with like the Casper situation and flanker. So big stern voice, loud echo. He's a very intimidating man, very hard to argue with when you hear his voice. But Hod's basically like made me the player I am today. Like I simply, whenever I hear a really dumb play that I say, I'm just like, okay, there's my conscience ringing, and it's Hod 6 voice just telling you, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you gonna do this play? Like, he's simply made, like, I think quite literally all of us the people that we are. Sykes was a very like unrefined fragger, but now he's like starting to be coherent and think for himself. Like Fun was already an amazing player, but I'd pushed him over to be, nearly perfect. Fun will hate that I said that, but he is simply put a really just like top of the line player. And for me, Hod's really helped my confidence. Like when he simply says, like, he gets drunk and he's like, oh my God, Nock, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you for what you do. And then he'll never say that shit sober. It's the small things. Like, he's like a father that, I've had a very good relationship with my father, but he's like a second father, where it's like I want to make him proud. I want to, he obviously wants to be a pro player, so I want to be the best pro player I can be, so he isn't going to regret his actions in his life where, oh, I stuck around coaching this team and there ended up being dog shit. But like, no, we're killing it. We're doing it for Hod, and that's I mean, that is mostly like the driving force behind why I play so well, because I do it for other people on top of myself.
And you guys have such a good dynamic, it seems like, just from head to toe, like from coach, players, all that. You guys seemingly, the one thing it keeps coming back to is how good the relationship is, how good the communication is. So I just want to get like a little bit of insight. And obviously you don't have to go all the way in, but let's just say a problem is thrown at Team XSET's way. There's something happened. Something went bad. Something went wrong. Blah, 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 blah. You already mentioned you don't call each other idiots, fucking assholes, blah, blah, blah. You don't do the name calling, none of that. But what is the protocol? What is the direction? What is the way that you guys go about handling conflict? Like when something is tabled, how do you guys figure it out usually? Like what is the protocol usually?
Usually it's like immediately it's like, okay, I'm always like not a hindsight person. I'm just what I could have done better in the past to make my present better or my future better. I will always ask the questions: what did we do wrong? How do we do it better? I'll never directly blame someone. I've never simply gone out of my way to be like, oh my God, like what the fuck are you doing, Sykes? Or what are you doing, Fun? Or what are you doing, me? Like I'll blame myself before I'll even blame anyone else. That's just the person I am. I don't try to create conflicts. I'm a very avoidant person. But yeah, like realistically, it's like I do the questions. Hod will digest what I asked or what like we talked about, and then he'll get his input, and then it's very just it's routine clockwork. It's us just all asking the same questions and doing the same answers. It's never attacking. It's just what can we do better.
I love that you said that. I love that you said that you were the first to take blame, whereas we have seen countless times over the years where the IGL is never at fault, even though it may technically be their fault. And so I think it's very refreshing for people to know and to hear that, like that's your mentality going into it, and not anybody, and not it's not anybody else's fault. It's my fault first because I'm the leader here.
Yeah, I mean, as an IGL, like you could do literally everything different. Like you could it can stem down to like your first 5 minutes, your first minute, your drop spot, your dropping, like how you're dropping or how you're contesting, or like there's so many factors that an IGL could do, and like it's very rare when a game goes wrong that it isn't the IGL's fault. And if you can sit there and dissect why you did it wrong or how we did it wrong or like what point did it go wrong, because like you can say that, hey, we lost this 3v3, but you could also be like, hey, why are we in this position to even take this 3v3 3 rings ago? It's like there's so much. It's not like you don't have to take the blame, but like there's also so much you could just do better in this game.
I'd love to hear your opinion too on the IGLs that do the other stuff. Like how like there's a lot of IGLs, a lot of different styles out there, some very notable ones. What is your take on all that? Because I think from your perspective, it seems like we've seen IGLs that go crazy, do really well, and they can win. And then we've seen IGLs with your style who are more calm, relaxed, try to table everything first, also do really well. Like what exactly is your opinion on, the other IGL styles and like your take on it?
I personally, this is like a big chip on my shoulder, and it stems back from like previous games like Overwatch and League of Legends, where like I played thousands and thousands of games to refine my craft, and then when I see people that do the same and they suck, I hate microing people. That I'll just say it. I'll fucking say it till I die. I absolutely abhor the fact to micro people, because like you're a professional player. I shouldn't have to micro you. This is, I've recently, brushed that chip off my shoulder, but there's still like that thought in my head where I'm just like, damn, I think that microing playstyle just ends up in a very bad mindset where people get like complacent, they get very relaxed. Like people like, I don't want to say it, but NRG, I personally think like if they were all three free thinking players, which I think they are to some degree, but when Sweet goes that full dictator mode, then it's just like, okay, I can turn off my brain and just play the game. I don't like that ever. I think that's a horrible play style, and it's a horrible way to like get into bad habits. So that's why like I stick to mostly macro and like kind of like world building, where it's like, this is our play, this is how we do it. If things go worse, here's your backup plan, and go from there. I really love the thought process of just like, hey, this is this and this will happen. We have to focus this and this to survive and hope for the best. And I really love, I have absolute trust in my teammates, so I don't really realistically have to micro them. Sometimes there's moments where we just don't see each other or see like what we can do, so then we micro each other. But if I had like a perfect world, I would just be strictly doing macro and going with the flow. But personally, I want to add on. I like the macro IGLing more than the microing. Microing is just like it's not my cup of tea.
You got one, E?
Yeah, so something that I'd want to get into a little bit is when I look at like the Team Liquid trajectory and like your career as a player in Apex, I felt like your like momentum shifter was when you guys made the decision to pick up Fun, and I believe you dropped Flanker, and I know that was an incredibly hard decision because I believe that you and Flanker were rather close, and it really just came down to that being a Fun is just simply like on a different caliber player than almost anybody in the game. And so and I feel like that was like really like a big changing, because like you made the decision, you guys picked up Fun, and then you guys later picked up Guild and then Sykes. But for me, when I look back on like your trajectory as a player, that's where I see like you start to see like your meteoric rise to like the level where you're at now. Mm-hmm. And so can you just get into a little bit about that decision and what all went into that?
Of course. So like weirdly enough, when we first started, I was on Wildcard back in like 2019. We were, to put it blankly, just we were dog shit back then. And then I joined HRN, which we had a massive uptick. Like we were very good up till Poland, and then I got dropped. I got dropped even though we were doing so well because of massive confidence issues. I was in a very toxic relationship back then, so it really fucked with me mentally. And then Poland happened, and then they lost Nastical. Team Liquid did. I actually had a lot of opportunities. I actually could have, I could have joined NRG as a coach back when an Asu was on the roster. I could have joined North back with Monde and Taishin, and then I could have joined Team Liquid, and then I could have joined another team with Noted. I don't remember the organization, but back then it was like Noted and
Secret.
No, it wasn't Secret. It was another one. It was a Brazilian org. But I had a lot of opportunities, and I chose Team Liquid. Hard to pass up on Team Liquid, honestly. Very prestigious org, and it was like, holy shit, this is like my big break. And we stuck out like a year and a half of Casper, which was absolutely fucking miserable, and it ruined my confidence to a T. Yeah, that was like I still have like issues with a lot of previous team issues with that situation. I still am trying to get over it, but after we dropped Casper, we picked up Alberlelli. I was actually in talks with Alberlelli and saying, hey, do you want to potentially come back? And then we dropped Casper when we had Mac 100%. And then Mac left, we got Fun. Fun was like, holy shit. Like, I thought when I first saw Fun and competitive, I thought he was literally cheating how fucking good he was. And he was just like, he was just a rank grinder back then. I didn't play ranked, so I didn't really know of him. And then I played with him. I met him through Monsoon because like, we met this Discord, and we met a bunch of friends, and I saw Fun for the first time competitive, and I was just like, boom, that guy is a fucking demon. And funnily enough, Fun only joined just because like he just wanted to have fun. That's simply put. Like he he didn't like really want to play competitive. He literally just joined off a whim and just went with it. And needless to say, that was like the biggest fucking turning point of his life, whereas it was purely off a whim, purely. And I know this is just a long-winded speech about my competitive, but after we finally made the hard decision of dropping flanker, because man, there's a lot of stuff coming up to that, because I really wanted him to be the best player he could have been. I gave him so many seasons, I gave him so many years of my life, and I was just like, man, I want you to want it. And to simply put, he didn't want it. He didn't want to grind. He just wanted to show up on tournament days, and he hated streaming. He hated playing ranked. He hated playing pubs. He hated playing with new people. And that was like my biggest like turn off from flanker, is that he would never go out of his way to meet people. He would never socialize. He just simply wrote off the Apex scene as unsalvageable and full of fucking assholes, which, to be fair, they are full of assholes. There's some fair share of assholes, but if you're gonna write them off before even like talking to these people, or even like not even care, it's like some of my best friends I've ever met in my entire life, like Nicewig, like Monsoon, Fun, like these people have changed my life. Like I wouldn't even be playing competitive if it wasn't for Nicewig. That guy cheered me on like relentlessly, even after I got dropped from HRN. He literally saved my life. In more ways than one. So it finally came to the point where like Fun joined the team, and he was like, I literally just am a better flanker, and he's a better support player. He plays more characters. He frags more. He does everything. And I was just like, oh, he said that, and I was just like, that makes a lot of sense. So we replaced flanker, and after we got guild, it was just like, wow, it's like I'm actually a decent IGL. I just didn't really have the team or the teammates to back it up, and it was really eye-opening to have a full roster that actually played the game, grinded the game. It was a breath of fresh air. It was really just genuinely nice to just have people that reciprocated the energy that I wanted. And I know that was a absolute mouthful of words that I just
that was a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
No, that was awesome.
Truly beautiful.
No, like that, you answered like a whole lot in that, and I appreciate the answer.
Of course.
And so, what exactly is your background before Apex? Like, can you get into like you getting into competitive gaming, and then as well as just gaming in general and the impact it had on you growing up?
So I started gaming when I was like Super Nintendo, like 6 years old, like 6 to 8 years old, playing like Aladdin on Super Nintendo, like the Super Mario Bros. I loved video games, and then Halo 2 came out, and I was like 11 or 12, and nothing brought my family happier than, or made my family happier than seeing me shit on all these adults and talk shit to them with my squeaker ass voice in Halo 2. And that's where it like really kickstarted. Like I started doing LANs, I started doing tournaments. Never really did anything like major other than just like traveling in Pennsylvania. But man, Halo 2 just like kickstarted that fire in me. I slowly kind of like I'm not gonna lie, my family like kind of split up, so I was like stuck in this like depression as a kid, and I took video games as my out, and video games was like my second world where I could escape all my problems, and I poured all of my passion into video games. I loved it. And so I played Halo 2, played Halo 3, tried to go competitive a little bit in that, but like I was still just in high school. Like it wasn't really much more than that. I couldn't make it into a job. So I tried League of Legends after like Halo 3, or Halo Reach came out, and that Halo Reach was just like, okay, this game is fucking horrible. Hated Reach. And then I started playing
That's my
League.
boy, dude. That's how I know you're a real one. That's all I know.
Yeah, the abilities, the DMR, like, bro, I'm just not a fucking fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Dude, now I know, I already knew you're a G, but now I know, like, I know you're a G.
I had like 40,000 like Halo 3 games, and going from Halo 3 to play Reach, I was just like, wow, this is an absolute disappointment. And then I met a girl who got me addicted to League of Legends, and I played like 30,000 games of League of Legends the first 5 seasons, got top 20 challenger multiple times. And then League just got stale for me because I was in a very toxic mindset where everyone around me was a bunch of assholes. I was an asshole. Like, simply put, everyone that played League was a fucking asshole.
I mean, I was the worst version of myself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think that's just you. I think
player.
that's a lot of people.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that is just that game, is that it just brings the absolute worst out of people.
Yeah, I had that epiphany. I was like, wow, I'm just simply a fucking dickhead. So I sold my League account, went to Overwatch 1, bought a new graphics card with my money, which I got absolutely fucking scammed for that account, by the way. I sold it for like $700. It was like 5 times challenger, had like thousands of skins. I got absolutely ripped off. But went to Overwatch 1, had a good time, tried to go pro. And then right before like the first Contenders came out, I got dropped right before first Contenders, which is a funny trend. You know, it happened before Poland and it happened before Contenders. So I got dropped and I quit the game, went to Fortnite, had some okay success, but every time I played a Fortnite tournament, I'd have a massive amount of packet loss. And I was just like, but it only happened in Fortnite, which is weird. So I gave up Fortnite because one of my friends from Fortnite was like, yeah, Apex is coming out. We can get you signed to some random organization. Sorry, wildcard. I say for saying that, but it was like you can get signed to a random organization. We could use some, some fancy resume touch-ups with makeup and stuff like that, and say, hey, we look really nice. We've won some scrims. Sign us. And that was like my transition to Apex. Like I tried every other game, but honestly, if I went pro in League or Overwatch, like I wouldn't be happy with myself. I was simply a completely different person. I was toxic as fuck. I didn't care about your existence. I didn't value you as a human. Like if you didn't gain me my ELO or my RP back in the day, I didn't value you. That's like simply put. I don't feel that way anymore. I will say that I'm a very nice person nowadays. But those games, if I ever went pro, I'd be absolutely just like I would not like myself after that.
I got to go back real quick because that was a great history. I love that. One thing you said that I wrote down on my paper in front of me. Did you say Aladdin? Did you say you played Aladdin?
Yes, Aladdin and Super Nintendo back in the day, where you like fly the carpet through the caves and stuff like that. Yes, it was a great game.
That was the only game I latched onto was Aladdin. Like, what
Really?
Was it? Just a story game the whole time? You just rode the carpet the whole time, or what?
Yeah, I think no, it was like a platformer. It was a platformer, but I remember the end stage of Aladdin was like you were going through the mine or whatever it was with the lava chasing, Aladdin, and it was one of the it was one of the hardest fucking stages you could ever do as like a 10-year-old. And
Dude,
I remember like my mom or my dad would try and beat that stage for me, but I've never beaten it to this day, and that shit actually pisses me off.
Okay, we gotta bring it back. We gotta beat
get
that
it.
stage.
Yes.
That's that's the next coming of age. You beat that stage, you win ALGS. I'm almost
True.
convinced of it now. I think
Okay.
that's what it is. We got
I'll
to
do that
go
before
back
LAN.
and find one. Yes, stream that. No,
They're
seriously.
probably they're okay, but they're probably like a couple $1,000s nowadays because
I
that's
know,
Super
dude.
Nintendo. So
I know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Was it so like you're flying through and the lava's like right behind you? You got to just try to avoid it.
You have
So
to
it's
dodge
basically
like you have to dodge like pillars and stuff falling down and like enemies and stuff. Oh my god.
so
Nothing
it's
more
Halo's last
infuriating.
level again.
Yeah. Halo 3?
Before, yeah, was it Halo
Which
1
one?
where you had to drive through the warthog and you tried to get
Halo
out
3,
of the?
Halo 3 was
yeah.
you had to like drive. It's like lava. The
Yep.
platforms are like getting to
They're
explode,
falling.
and then you have to like fly the warthog into the back of the ship, and then that's the end of the level.
Yep.
I
Dude, I
could
remember
swear that was
the game.
Halo 1.
I skipped.
No,
what
that was not Halo 1.
Halo
Okay,
1
I'm
was where
confused.
you like ended on the ship, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's still like a ship I think ending
Yeah.
as well, but
Halo 3,
Dude,
I remember skipping school for that, and it's just
Yeah.
playing
Dude, me
the third-
too.
Oh my god, my English teacher that next day was like, "You skipped for Halo," and I was like, "I'm literally wearing a Halo 3 shirt right now. Like, what are you?" Obviously, I fucking did.
No, that's
So
awesome.
funny.
I wanted to bring that back because the second I heard Aladdin, that's something I've never heard. All the other games you've named, I've heard in the past. Never Aladdin. We got to beat that level. You're winning land. You're
I might have
winning
to.
land if you beat that level. Promise.
That level was fucking impossible. I will tell you that right now. It's probably like one of the top 3 hardest levels I've ever done.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I have a question.
Of course.
What is something that a lot of people may not know about you?
About me?
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm pretty transparent. Like if you ask me a question, I will literally answer the question. Like I don't really hold back I don't really hold back. I will say like I'm pretty introverted where I just like I enjoy my alone time. Like I don't really care for being a social butterfly. I do a very good face of being a social butterfly and a very good communicator and but like realistically I could disappear for a week and just be completely normal. Like I'd be happy like not communicating with literally anyone. I'm very happy on my own, like honestly. So I think that's probably like the one thing most people wouldn't expect because I'm a streamer, I'm a pro player, I'm a face. Like I love just being by myself and being alone.
So something I want to ask about is you're doing VTubing, and so can you give us a little bit of insight on that community, and then as well as what led you to making the decision to become a VTuber?
Of course. Honestly, I struggle with how I look. Most people do nowadays, and most people hate the way they look. I personally just spent most of my childhood beating myself up with how I looked, and I still kind of carry that residual frustrations of myself. So it's just a way to I hate streaming with the cam on. I always think about my face and my facial expressions and like what I look like and how I look like and how my gamer faces and shit like that. So I saw like VTubers, I saw all this stuff, and I was like, hey, this is like kind of cool. And you could do your own design, you can do your own thing, you can do your own themes, and it wasn't really a hard decision. It was just a lot of fun for me. It was something I could do that was comfortable with me, and I didn't have to show my face. I obviously show my face like professionally and do for podcasts, stuff like that, which I'm comfortable with. But whenever I'm gaming, I'm just like, I don't really care for it. I don't really like it. But all the people I've met from VTubing have been like some of the nicest people I've ever met. Like there's just a bunch of people that just want to have a good time. That's really it. Like they're here to just, most of them are Apex addicts. They love playing Apex. So like I fit the niche, and like honestly, I wouldn't, or if I had like another like, what's the word? If I'd go back, I would still do it all over again. Like it is something really nice. I love all the people I've met. Some of the people are like so closest friends I've met. I've met a couple of them in person, and they're most people try to hide their face, but like when you get to know them, they are some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet, and it's a really good time, honestly.
All right, so getting back into this next split here, you guys obviously right now, like we said at the beginning, you guys are sitting at first. You got a lot of momentum going into the final few days. There's one thing that kind of differentiates this second split from the first split, and that was Apex went through a gigantic change in the way that they set up the legends and everything like that. And we've seen some teams like severely struggle with like that change. Like there was a lot of teams who were running crypto who are just having trouble now, and they haven't been able to adapt. For you guys, it seems like there was just no change whatsoever, and even some of the better teams, like they're still like seeing a regression in their play. For you guys, was there any talk about how the Legends were going to change moving into this next split, or was it just like we're just going to play the way we always have and just come out on the other side?
I mean, honestly, our comp was so flexible like back then before the changes, because we were playing Bang. Fuck, what were we playing? Were we playing Bang on Stormpoint? I think we were playing Bang on Stormpoint. So we were playing Bang of Valkyrie, and we were just playing, pretty flexible team comp. And then when
you and Luminosity were the only ones
Yeah.
that were doing it. It was like
Yeah.
you guys like started that whole thing, and now everybody's running Bang. But I think back then it was only you and Luminosity, and like
you say everyone's playing it, but people aren't playing it. Like people are still sleeping on Bangalore. It blows
Crazy.
my mind. It absolutely. I think. Well, it's not that they're sleeping on it. I think most people like can't shoot through Bang smokes with their controllers. Like a lot of people are simply, they would rather not have a Bangalore and have aim assist than have a Bangalore with without aim assist. Like, even if I've heard like specifically, I think it's Zach Mazur's team, E8. They said they want to play Bangalore, but they also don't want to deal with the fact that they don't have aim assist. But Bangalore is one of those characters that is just fucking so strong. It's so strong, and especially in a region that's almost 60% controller in Pro League now. And
I think that's about right.
yeah. No aim assist for you guys. Like, sorry, like we're gonna play Bangalore and you're not gonna have fun. But the meta didn't really change, because the only thing we changed was Stormpoint, where we changed that we didn't get 2 beacons, or we lost a beacon, and the odds are about the same, but obviously the flexibility is gone there, and it's quite annoying. I think the beacon changes were kind of not really well thought out, personally, but it was a complete natural transition, and I think a lot of people still haven't adapted to it. Honestly, it's not as hard as people think it is. If you, I feel like I'm gonna just spill secrets, but like honestly, like the map room scan is some of the most broken thing we will ever have, and people still don't know how to use it correctly. It's absolutely insane to me. It's not complicated. You wait till ring closes, or you wait till like a little bit longer, and when all the position teams rotate, and just hit the fucking map room and play the game from there. It's like, it's not that hard. It is sad to see like the rotation based gameplay gone, but I will say I think those comps were kind of just boring, and I think Respawn just said, "Hey, this is just a snooze fest. Like, let's just get rid of it." And unfortunately for like teams like Sentinels and Sentinels, like the Guard, Oxygen obviously suffered from it too, I think a little bit. A lot of teams were just like kind of shafted, and they didn't get to play test. I feel like they didn't get to see what's in store, and they're just left like high and to dry. And it's unfortunate to see such a playstyle just gone for being here for almost 4 years. Yeah, it's a little weird to. Unfortunately, didn't do anything for us, but it's really sad to see for the scene. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like what's up?
No, go. I was just gonna end something whenever you go. You go, finish.
I was gonna say it's a little unfortunate, honestly. I wish there was more, the fucking C word communication, but it is what it is at the end of the day, and I'm just lucky that I'm not affected by it.
I was gonna add that the Meat Lovers is doing pretty good with crypto right now, though.
Yeah.
So I think but granted, I would argue that I would argue that Tech was playing a little bit different with crypto comparatively to like what Oxygen and what Sentinels were doing beforehand as well. But like at least in a different way of a play style. Plus, of course, like Tech plays a little bit more aggressive with crypto, and now has like 2 absolute fraggers that he just like 6 on people,
Yeah, just attack dogs. I mean, honestly, it's nice to see that crypto isn't just like boring one-dimensional playstyle where like you fast rotate, hit beacon, and scout out everything, have perfect knowledge. And I personally hate crypto with like that playstyle, but the hyper aggressive that like the playstyle that Tech is doing, where it's like, hey, flashbang in, attack dogs, go get them and go kill them. It's a pretty cool playstyle, because like it has its high risk, high reward, and it's nice to see that he's finally getting the attention that he deserves, and he's finally, you know, coming to find his own playstyle. And it's nice to see, you know, a new era of crypto.
Would you consider yourself a Bangalore crutch?
I wouldn't say that because our Storm Point's better than our World's Edge. I will say that maybe if we were landing like a different POI, and I would be more reluctant to leave Bangalore, but Bangalore is way too good from trials, and it helps us make space that we couldn't really do. I wouldn't say that because mostly just because of the Storm Point, though, honestly, because I play Cat and I play Rampart now.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, your Rampart from the top of pad was
North pad.
Yeah, that shit was just so.
Dude, everyone was just like, "What are they doing?"
They're 150.
They're fucking trolling. They're fucking. Everyone's just sitting there, just like we're just porta-forted up with 2 turrets and just flaming us. Like what? Like these guys are fucking clowns. Like what's going on? And I don't know. That's too fucking funny.
Okay, so you said that Bangalore is especially good from trials. So what about that specific POI in Bangalore is such a good combination?
Gold helmets and gold knockdowns. Gold knockdowns, obviously, for the old gold bag where you get your health back for knockdowns, and gold helmets for longer smokes duration, or not longer smoke durations, but like having it up faster, and it helps you survive longer. I like personally, I wouldn't even like. I don't really care about Bangalore. Like, if our region wasn't so controller dominated, I probably wouldn't even be playing her. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I would be, but I like realistically, I'm only playing Bangalore because we just have so many controllers in our region, and we can take advantages in 3v3s because Sykes and I practice Bangalore smokes 1v1s in the range a pretty decent amount, especially when land comes around. We do like an hour a day or maybe even more. We just take advantage of the scene and we play to our strengths. So I'd be fine to take off of Bangalore or play whatever character. I was actually honestly thinking about playing Rampart over Bangalore and World's Edge. Honestly, I think, you know, like we used to play the Catalyst, or not Catalyst, the Newcastle Watson comp. Thinking about going back to that kind of play style and just like playing good spots or less than good spots and have a Rampart wall to back us up. And it was a thought, but it's a little bit of a stretch because like we're just fine with it. We don't have to change anything realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you using Rampart. Oh no, go E.
Who gets gold helmet, Seer or Bangalore?
Bangalore.
If there's only one. Bangalore every time.
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
Gotcha.
But we're always conscious of who needs the gold helmet in the right moment, so we're always tossing that shit around.
I did see y'all running Rampart on Stormpoint on your last Pro League matches. Did you like that, or are you just like no? Even though you guys won the first, I mean, y'all won with playing Rampart.
Yeah. Most of the team was like kind of iffy about it. I know Sykes was like 50, maybe like 40-60, where it's like I don't want to play it. No, I want to play it and I don't want to play it. But with the situation with like the tracers are kind of hard to see and the no audio, Rampart gives you a wall to, you know, have more space and have more cover that isn't you just getting beamed from off angles. So the day before I was just like, okay, we've practiced Rampart. I've been playing her exclusively in Realm and in scrims. So we were just like, I hit the question. I was like, okay, guys, are we playing Rampart tomorrow? And Hod was like, okay, what do you feel? And I'm just like, we're never going to get realistic practice for ALGS. So let's just fucking send it in ALGS because realistically we have a comfortable lead. So might as well just send it. And it worked. So I think I'm playing Rampart for the future.
I wanted to go back to your Storm Point because you talked about how you guys are doing really good at Storm Point, and you even started this interview talking about the Storm Point stat where it's like if you guys are top 5, statistically you guys have a 25% chance of winning, which is just crazy with like a BR style game. It's just not, it doesn't always happen that way. There's too many variables, but you guys have found a way to limit said variables. What about Storm Point? Like, what is it that makes that map come so easy for you guys?
I think it's like fast. It's a style of fast rotates with really good armors, and we're playing a comp that just like creates so much space. Like, we used to play Loba where we had unlimited ammo, basically, but now we have Rampart and now we have unlimited ammo in Sheila, and that shit hits hard. That's better than any heavy ammo wingman we used to have with Guild. Like Sheila is a fucking terrifying thing, and if you're in a position where you can use it uncontested, nobody's gonna get near you. Even if like they're 200 meters out, I'm still spraying bullets at you and hoping to God that I hit like a 20 damage bullet like randomly. I'll spend 200 bullets just to do 17 damage, and that's just the honest truth. Like, it's just very well thought out space creation with Stormpoint, and realizing where you're gonna die from or who's your immediate threat, or it's just playing the keep away game. And we excel in Stormpoint because Stormpoint's it's either high ground or open space. That's what it feels like for Stormpoint. So if you have that best spot, then nobody can push you. Like it's not World's Edge where it's like building to building or POI to POI. It's very open, very unforgiving. If you have a charge rifle in Stormpoint, you are making everyone's life a living fucking hell. And especially with Sheila now too, or Rampart Walls, like it's just added damage, and it's not fun for the enemies like to play against us realistically.
Okay, I had a take last week about Rampart, and I want you to just straight up tell me to my face if I'm wrong, and I'm totally okay with it. You can be like, "You suck, dude. You're the terrible idea."
I would never say that.
Terrible thought. You can. I know you wouldn't, but you can.
Yes.
I said, and mind you, I'm not a great player. I'm just going to throw that out there. I said having a Rampart late game when you know you have the Sheila and you know you have this awesome weapon on your back. Is there ever a time where you're almost kind of like taking away from your ability to fight with a even frame of mind, knowing that you have like this death weapon on your back, but sometimes it's not the right time to pull it out versus sometimes you should have pulled it out, but you kept your other weapon instead? Do you ever run into that situation when you're playing Rampart, or am I just insane?
I feel like if you're like a simple-minded individual, you'll obviously like that's not a slight at you, but like it's like obviously you can
it's okay. We call Wyatt the casual king.
No. I did not mean that like towards you. I meant like the general populace. But like most people would be like, "Oh my god, big minigun, big shiny gun. Let me just fucking shoot it." But like people don't realize that hey, if you fight an R9 with Sheila, like you're gonna die to that R9 faster than you're gonna die to Sheila. Because you're one, very slow. Two, you have to wind up, and three, even if you shoot at them, like you're still not gonna kill them sometimes, and you can't really slide. You can't really do anything with it. So it's a very controlled pace, and if you simply put, if you're playing Rampart and you don't have that controlled pace, then you shouldn't be playing the character. Period. I think honestly, because if you're just going in gun ho thinking you're going to be Rambo and kill them with a Sheila, like that's not the character. It like granted, it can happen, but it's not going to be 9. It's going to be like maybe like 30% of the time in endgame where you can actually get away with it, or maybe like even less than that. It's not the win all button like Horizon or something like that. It's a very, 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 very sharp double-edged sword.
Yeah, and I think that's the nuance of the Rampart is you would think just by looking at it, you're like, okay, like you said, shiny new gun, I can kill everybody with it. But there is a lot of like pace of play that has to be used with the Sheila, and I love seeing it come into the pro scene, because we have seen teams try to just bust it out at the end and just be like, I'm shooting every fucking thing, and sometimes it doesn't work, and then it seems like somebody who has more of a controlled pace with it usually ends up getting the kills with the Sheila. But I always wondered that just from a pro's perspective, because it's such an interesting thing to have in the game, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. The craziest thing about it is like I think there was like this one clip of Lanimals where they were fighting on the near the armory for Northpad. They were fighting the east building, the one long building, and they were just wall, and they were sieging with Rampart and Sheila. It's like, dude, especially against Catalyst, like everyone's playing Catalyst nowadays, and you just hit that Sheila against a Catalyst door, they're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, holy shit, please spare me. And dude, people say that she's not the Catalyst counter, but goddamn, that Sheila against the Catalyst door, it hits different. Like it is a serotonin just like skyrocket.
No, it's
when
beautiful.
Sheila's singing,
100%.
bro. Yeah. She's singing, bro.
Okay, sad because I don't even think we have stats of her. Like whenever you look at like the ranked Apex status, what is it called?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Ranked,
Apex.
ranked. You, if you look at that, Sheila's not on there, and I want to see what damage I'm doing or what kills I have with Sheila. Oh my god, I wish that'd be a stat sometime soon.
Oh, they'll pull it up soon. With the way she's
Hopefully.
getting used right now, they'll bring it out. But
That'd be
speaking of Sheila, Rampart, all that different type of stuff, we've had so many different metas throughout the years now. It's years now. We've had so
Yeah.
many different legends and different people come in and out of the game, different weapons, all of that. Out of all the metas with all the legends throughout all the years you've been playing, was there one that you really wish they would bring back, or maybe not even bring back, but just one you look back fondly on, like that was awesome, that was so fun? Those are my favorite times.
Honestly, the meta from like Sweden, where it was like right before Seer was like super played and everywhere, like we're still playing like Gibby Caustic. I know everyone hates Gibby Caustic and it's so boring, but like anytime you're playing with bubbles, like it really shows who is the better team fighting team. And like you just see so much fun 3v3 action that we don't really see anymore. Like the game's kind of slowed down. It's kind of slowed its pace down. It's been very simplified. Whoever gets knocked first usually loses every single time, and there's very, very little clutch ability nowadays. That I think Gibby meta has always been, hey, we can recover, we can potentially recover, we could also 2v3 in bubble fights with like calculated fighting. That's personally what I miss the most, but obviously, having 20 Gibbies in one lobby is just not healthy for the game. But I don't know. That's what I miss the most. I just miss the calculated team fights that were just really fun to do.
It's nice
Your
having
Gibby is
fun
also fun, which is just
Yeah.
OP. Like that's just as far as Gibbies go.
Yeah.
Like that is just OP.
Yeah, I remember Sweden, we were bubble fighting teams, and fuck, we like the old Sudoraiko squad with Waltzy, Fussy, and Bullet. I think we like 40 0'd them, and they still kept coming back to practice. But we 40 0'd them, or maybe like 20 0'd them. Maybe I'm embellishing because I just love talking shit to them because they're fun to talk shit to. But it wasn't even close. Like it was a fucking slaughter. And we did it with the Alliance squad. Granted, Vipes was sick back then. We did it then too, and we like 20 0'd them or 25 them or something very drastic. And yes, it is great to have fun on my squad if Gibby ever comes back to meta. Honestly,
He's pretty dang good on Newcastle too. Like,
I mean, he's pretty fucking good. Period. Honestly,
Literally on any
Yes.
character, just all around.
It-
That man has no weakness in his game. Like
Yeah.
he just.
it really speaks volumes of the rank grinders. I think because like Sykes was a rank grinder, Fun was a rank grinder. I grinded ranked like one split.
I think you had like a season where you were like top 10, and
Yeah,
I was like, "What? Where did he's playing ranked now?"
I had a split where I got 7th overall. I won a 50 gifted subs to Sykes because he said I was like I will outplace you at the end of the season, and I ended 7th, he ended 8th, and he owed me 50 gifted subs. But when ranked is enjoyable, like maybe this next season, maybe you'll see me back, but like I don't know. I value my mental more than anything, and dealing with stream snipers and cheaters on a regular basis, and also dying to fucking random Bob Joe 420 isn't really gonna help my mental fucking at all.
So you said if it gets so, what for you are the changes that we need to see in the rank system for you to view it as something that would be worth your time and fun?
I think a better anti-cheat. Like realistically, I don't really give a fuck about the current system. Like I think it's fine, whatever it is. But we would need like a better anti-cheat and actual punishments to stream snipers. Because like I think I don't care if I die to a cheater, because like obviously it's a free-to-play game. It happens. Like there's a lot of ways to get around it, and it's gonna happen. And I'm very okay with just saying, hey, I died to a cheater, I'll report them and move on to my day. I don't really get upset by that anymore. But stream snipers that I see, people that are constantly reoccurring at this very precise time, this very, very, very good play, and I'm just like, wow, like, okay, I have to turn on a delay and ruin my chat interaction and have significantly less fun in my stream. That's like my biggest downfall. Like I'd rather sit there and play against 3-stack console kids in pubs all day than deal with the guy who's trying to cheat me out of my internet points that I don't fucking care about because I'm a professional player. So I think it's a little bit out of my realm for me to enjoy ranked anymore.
No shit. I saw a guy, he had been live streaming on TikTok. He was just he was just showing his cheats on the screen, and he nobody's going to do anything. Like nobody was going to say anything, do anything, and he was just living his best life, just cheating it up. Just that's kind of the state we're in, and I think I kind of agree with you on that. If we could figure out something with the cheating, it would be a massive step forward for the pro scene. Everybody. I think everybody wins.
I think like I don't know if you guys are familiar with RuneScape, but they have player moderators where they can filter out like stuff like that. But I know it's a very, very dangerous line to cross, but like we gotta have something that like certain players just have this way to facilitate like more. Not like I don't want to go to a Twitter DM or a Discord DM with hideouts and say, hey, this guy is cheating and hope for a response. Like I want an in-game feature where it's like if I report this person, they should be like looked at immediately. I believe there's something in that line right now, but it is simply not doing enough. It requires too much manpower to like operate right now, and like something automated where it's like if I'm Imperial Hal reported this player for a good fucking reason, and they just they get locked out of their account for like 24 hours, and they get reviewed, and that would be something cool where it's just like if I press this report, this person's gonna get locked out and reviewed, and hey, maybe if I like fuck up 3 times, then I lose that power. Like something like that would be I think really, really cool to see, but also just like might cause some legal issues, I feel like.
You guys got any other ones?
We're gonna do the double tap. So double tap segment. I give you a I don't know, like a statement, and then you have to reply with one word sentence, or not a sentence, just one word statement.
Okay.
Do the statement.
Yep.
So, number 1, catalyst.
Creative.
Number 2, best IGL in North America.
I'd say Imperial Hal.
Number 3, Team Exit on LAN.
Consistent.
Number 4, worst thing about Apex Legends.
Rotational aim assist.
Number 5, favorite thing about ALGS.
Emotions.
Number
Nice.
6, Sykes.
Headache.
Nice.
There you go. Beautiful.
Nah, I love Sykes, but he's definitely a headache. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
Oh, I got one more. My last question.
Of course.
So my last question, when you said that you think Hal is the best IGL in North America, I would say you are currently the best IGL in North America, and I think you're just being humble, and I appreciate that. But no one's putting up the same consistent numbers that you've been doing since Split 1, and so I think you deserve your flowers. And so this is me telling you, and us as a podcast telling you, I really do think that you're the best IGL in the world right now. And so I think that's to say with how far you have even talked about become, from the pits of, with everything that was going on in your life to now, I mean, considered the best IGL in North America, though you haven't had the quote unquote, you haven't won at LAN yet. To be fair, there's only been a few IGLs that have been able to even do that.
Well, 2.
So yeah, it's only 2.
Only
so
2.
like, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you guys right now, I don't think that there's an argument to be said that you guys are in the best form out of any single team across the other regions. I guess you could maybe argue Fire Beavers, but I would still put you guys ahead just due to how strong North America is. But that being said, I just wanted to commend you and say, I think that you are the best IGL in North America, and I hope that drives you and like will continue to get you to the point to where hopefully, and I know you're capable of winning a LAN. So like I have super high expectations, and I know you do as well. I know your team does. So we're rooting for you.
I appreciate that. It's like LAN's kind of just a right person, right timeline. So just hoping I'm going to be that right person, right time. But like, hey, if I get another top 3, I mean, I'm not going to complain at all. Like that makes me happy. I'm completely fine with like a Furious situation where it's like top 2 or top 3. But I just I like consistency. And if you think I just because I haven't won a LAN that I'm not up there, but I'm also I think I'm the best teammate That's what I'll confidently say. I'm the best teammate for teams, and the best like caretaker, IGL captain, whatever. I prefer priding myself on being a better person than a competitor. That's what I look to be.
That's beautiful.
well said.
Bro. That is awesome.
And so I've got the question that I ask basically everybody who comes on the pod, because everybody who we have is performing in the top 1% in whatever field they're in. And you are certainly in that, as we just talked about, very undeniably one of the best in the world, point blank period. What is one piece of advice that has helped you get to the level you're at today that somebody could apply to any passion that they're trying to become like the number one in the world and at whatever they're trying to do?
I would say like I have two. So when I was coming out of like the TL rut, fake it till you make it was like the biggest thing I was thinking. Just keep thinking that you're the best IGL and keep like practicing the behaviors of being the best IGL. Like I have fucking probably hundreds of hours of watching Imperial Hal that I know his playstyle and know how to like think like him and how to adopt the mannerisms. So constantly just believe in yourself. Even if you don't believe in yourself, believe in yourself. Like just you have to put yourself in that mindset that you know that you can do this. And hard work beats everything. You put the hours in, spend your time wisely. That's also like probably the three things. Fake it till you make it, put the hours in, and also use the hours wisely. Because if you're sitting there playing 14 hours like fucking Naughty does, dude, that guy does that shit every single day, 14, 16 hours, and it's like, bro, I can play 4 to 6 hours and get more, more practice out of whatever the fuck you're doing with 16 hours. It's just like, that's just an unhealthy habit. And use your time wisely because you only have so much time. And obviously just do it efficiently.
Beautiful. Well
said.
were you gonna follow up?
I just want to say we were talking about how you're like best IGL. I want to give a quick shout out to somebody who was a big fan of yours for quite some time, and somebody who'd put me on to you specifically early on in the Apex scene, and that was Joey Cherished.
Yeah.
That man, he thought absolutely like so highly of you from like the absolute get-go. Like he was like one of the biggest Noc fanboys out there.
I actually love Joey.
And he definitely believed in you from the grip. And like, and now I like, we're seeing, like everybody's seeing the IGL that he was seeing and that everybody else has been seeing. And yeah, you just could not be happy for all the success you've been having. And especially just like the team of like you, Fun, and Sykes. Like it's genuinely just, when you look at all of you guys as individuals, it is a team that's like hard not to root for. And just, I wish nothing but the best for you guys as you guys continue your dominant performance.
I appreciate it a lot. It's funny. I actually asked Joey to be my sub, but he couldn't do it because he's a professional Halo player.
That's what I was going to say. He's balling out over there, actually.
I think he's doing a pretty good job over there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like, he's been consistently been like top 16, top 8. So
hell yeah.
It's
good to see for him, honestly. And I really appreciate that, it means a lot. And honestly, as someone who's fucking tried to root for you and try to get you started too, and God, I wish I could have gotten you on Team Liquid, but I appreciate everything you guys do, and it means a lot, seriously.
Awesome, man. Well, I think I want to end this interview the same way I started it, with the crazy stat. I'm going to just read this stat off to you real quick. This is league statistics through all maps. You guys are first in placement per game at 5.88. You guys are first in kills per game at 4.83. And you guys are first in total points per game at 10.17. It's incredible what Team XSET is doing right now, and you're a major part of it. Nocturnal, thanks for hopping on the show, and hopefully by the time we talk to you next, you'll finally have that trophy in your trophy case. Thanks for hopping on, man.
I fucking hope so. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was our boy Nocturnal. Shout out to Nocturnal for hopping on the show. He's been on everything recently. He's been going to all the different appearances. He's been out there. Nocturnal, thanks for hopping on the show. We appreciate it. Great interview from Nocturnal. Boys, we have some Season 17 teasers. We have things that we've been thinking were going to come true, finally come true. Ballistic is the new legend. It looked like from the trailer, he was able to shoot a shot that disabled a person's gun in the trailer. So I would assume that might be some sort of tactical ability, maybe even an ultimate. We don't know for sure, but it looks like it's going to be able to stop somebody from shooting a gun, which is going to be absolutely broken if it's done in like a good way. The legend story is definitely interesting. Other than that, the new legend Ballistic coming out season 17 looks like they put a few different things out there. Whenever they drop a video, they always drop stuff kind of teasing what's coming soon to the next season, and I took a screenshot of all those so I could bring it up to you guys. Here they are. First one, obviously we got Ballistic. Second one, we got the updated World's Edge. So it looks like they're going to be doing some new things to World's Edge. It says time heals all wounds, but a little help can go a long way. We're also getting a weapon mastery system. It says, want to prove no one wields your favorite gun like you? Complete challenges and earn rewards that show you're a legend to be envied and feared. And then we have an evolved firing range. Practice makes perfect in the newly updated and majorly expanded firing range, something we've all been waiting for. And then ranked updates. That was something I'm sure a lot of people had their eyeballs on. Changes are coming to ranked play. How high can you climb? Finn, I know you can't always, dive too deep into stuff like this, so we'll go me and E. Was there anything that stood out to you that you were kind of excited for, either from the video or from some of the stuff they posted afterwards about all the different changes to various different things coming up?
Raw, unfiltered opinion. Didn't watch the video. Don't care. From the leaks that I've seen on Twitter, Champion looks stupid busted. I'm not looking forward to it. I think it's going to be silly. But we do know Respawn, if they're going to release a character, the chances that they're going to release them too strong versus not strong enough. Like, they don't want to release a character and then not anybody play them because they're not viable. And so it's understandable for them to be like a little bit OP. But this little bit OP looks just straight up just not fun, not cool. But we'll see what happens. In terms of the ranked changes, they have mentioned that they are going to be making rank changes. Which I'm excited to see what those will be. But the biggest rank change that needs to be made is a problem in addressing the cheating situation and boosting situation, which there still has been a big radio silence on, as well as the problems with sound is the worst it's ever been, especially with the Nemesis. That gun literally just shoots silent bullets and you don't have tracers and you don't know where you're getting shot from, and then you just insta-die. And with any amount of rank changes that they make, they can make the best rank changes ever. If they don't address the cheating and boosting situation, it's just not going to be an environment that is going to be conducive for people to have a good time. And so from what I've seen, I don't think it's going to be the change that people are hoping and waiting for. And so I'm just preparing myself mentally to, regardless of how good or bad the changes are, that I'm just going to do my best to have a good time regardless of what it ends up being. And I don't want to get too excited about the idea of them doing all of the things that they should be doing because the chances that they do that are slim. And so I don't want to disappoint myself by having higher expectations than I should.
And I think you'd be smart to be doing that because, like you said, with the radio silence we've had, I wouldn't really expect anything to come in the way of changes to those things, as sad as it is. I remember a few weeks ago we talked about a new studio dropping in Wisconsin, a live service studio that would be meant to take care of live service things, stuff like what we're dealing with right now, issues in the game that can be fixed, and it seems like they're just not paying attention to it. And the one thing that sucks is usually when there's a problem, I'm lying. They don't usually communicate when there's a problem. There's usually a good delay. So I can't even say that. We've just reached a point where it just feels like we've learned all we've needed to learn about this company and their handling of the game. And it's this is just where we're at. This is just where we are at. It's very sad. It's very tough to watch. I was telling the boys before we started recording, I've been watching every day. I go on TikTok and I look for the same guy his name's like Gremlins WYD or something. I'm sure I could even go on TikTok right now and he would be live. But he just streams on TikTok his games of Apex, where he has full aimbot and full walls on, and he just goes in there and he plays his games and he has a good time, and nobody's going to stop him and nobody's going to do anything about it. So why should you know we why should he expect anything different? It's just what's been happening. He's going to continue to do it, and I don't know, man. I don't know what we do from here. Imperial Hal tweeted earlier today that he was going to be stepping down from playing Apex, not full time, but he was definitely going to be taking an extended break from it. I don't know the truthfulness of that. A lot of times, people throw out statements like that, and it's out of a place of frustration, and I don't blame him from being frustrated. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he took a long extended break. I've taken a long extended break, and I'm not even like a pro or anybody. I'm just somebody who likes to enjoy the game. But recently, it's been extremely, extremely hard. And last season, I was very excited before season 16 dropped because they decided to take a break from making a new legend and all the other things that come with the new season. And they decided to work really hard on balancing, trying out new things, doing all that. That was interesting to me because to me that said, hey, we know that we can make this game better. We know that we can make it, for the future, a much more enjoyable experience. And I wish they would have done the same thing here. I think we needed another season like this because season 16, I think, was the second shortest season we've had in history, if not the shortest. And so you go from, we're going to take a small break to fix things, to not give yourself enough time to fix all the other things out there. I guarantee if they would have just dropped a video that what had nothing to do with lore, no legend, no update, no anything, just some developers sitting down in a chair being like, these are the issues. We know these are the issues. We are trying to figure them out. And, I'm sure they can't really say exactly how they want to figure them out, but just something so that we know that they know that these are issues. I think people would have been a lot more excited for that. It just feels like we're going in this vicious circle, this vicious cycle of nothing happening, nothing said, nothing done. And it's frustrating, man. And then we just like today we have another collection event. Like, hooray, more skins. We got more skins though. So it's just getting really sad. And I've been talking about this game since right before season 6 started. And I would like to say that I would think it gets better. But when you've paid attention this closely to this game and how they've handled problems from season 6 on, and even before that, when I was just playing, before I was making content for it, I don't think it's going to get any better for a long time unless there's a massive overhaul in something. I don't know what that needs to be. But when you open up a brand new studio for live service and we're still having these issues without anything said, that's crazy. That's insane. And what's going on with like the hideouts thing? I don't know what's going on at all with just the cheaters who are actively doing it. What's going on? I don't know. I'm not saying anything different than anybody else has said on any other show or whatever. But I felt like somebody has to say it. Somebody has to say it for this community. But it's definitely sad right now. It's definitely sad. I would love to be excited about the new stuff coming out, and normally it would be something I'm super excited for. But how can I be when the best chance you have at a clean game is going into the firing range and just playing there? So that's where we're at right now. If you're frustrated out there, I totally get you. And I do applaud people who are trying to stay positive about it, because for a long time, that was me. I was trying my best to stay positive and be like, no, this is fine. Like, we'll figure this out. It's cool. But every once in a while, you have like a little slip up. And I think I'm having a slip up right now. It's hard for me to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now. So I'm just going to be honest with it. I'm not feeling very positive about the state of everything right now. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Ballistic. Hopefully World's Edge looks nice. Hopefully the new firing range is pretty cool. I've heard from the leaks I've seen, it looks cool. That's awesome. The weapon progression system looks interesting. We'll see how that goes. And hopefully I can progress my weapons without getting, 250'd in the head before I can even blink. So yeah, season 17. That is something we'll be looking forward to. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some communication here in the next few weeks. But ladies and gents, let's throw it on down to the heart to heart and send you on the rest of your week. All right, ladies and gents, it is heart to heart time. Heart to heart time. Who wants to go first? I'll go first. You guys want me to go first? Whenever nobody talks, it means I go first.
You got that.
Okay, I got you. Heart to heart this week. Heart to heart this week. I don't think I have one, so I'm just gonna start talking and we'll see where it takes me. Just starting to get hot out here in the Central Valley. That always sucks. Central Valley can get up to like 110, 112. And we're starting to see it do it again. This year, though, we actually had like a legit winter, which I'm happy about because we haven't had one of those in a while. But I'm just gearing up for the heat. Other than that, my mental's been good, feeling good. I think my mental does a lot better when I'm not consistently playing Apex, which is sad, but that's something I also got to work on for myself. Other than that, I'm nothing crazy, just playoffs, bro. NHL playoffs. It's always a good vibe when the NHL playoffs are around. I am feeling a-okay, feeling good, feeling happy. How about you guys?
I'm doing well. I'm having fun. Doing the best I can, putting in as much work, and I'm super excited because I know I had talked about it earlier, but the course community thing that I was creating, which I'm going to be calling Full-Time Entertainment, I'm dropping this week. It'll definitely be out by either Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm super excited as this is a project that I've been working on and had in my head for like a really long time, and I'm finally getting around to like I'm getting all of the things in order to be able to actually make it happen, from like the business side of things to putting it together to like getting ready just for everything that's going to result from it. And so I'm just, throughout this entire process of getting this out there, I haven't been going about it and accomplishing everything as fast as I would have wanted it to. And so it was easy in those moments to get mad at myself and beat myself up for not accomplishing as much as I wanted to. But then I could have done that, or I could have taken my focus and attention and just been like, okay, I'm making progress. I'm like expanding what I'm doing. Like I'm doing something that I haven't done before. I'm like slowly but surely developing and growing and gaining these new skills and learning these new processes, and just focusing on being thankful that it's happening instead of focusing on how I'm not happy that it's not happening as fast as I would have rather it. And just being in that place of gratitude, everything has just been flowing so much easier the more I am intentional about being grateful. And so that's something that I've been focusing on, and it's something that's been helping me continue to move the needle each and every day. And so I guess that would be my heart to heart, is just whatever you're doing, there's always a perspective and a perception that you can have on it, that you get to make the choice on what it's going to be. And life is a lot better when you choose to take that more positive and grateful perspective compared to the doom and gloom. And I'm a firm believer that the more you stay in that place, then the more positive your life experience will be all around. What about you, Finn?
That's good. That's good stuff, E. I mean, mine was. I mean,
Ooh, real quick. If anybody is interested in the course community that I'm dropping, you can go to enochsgarden.net and you can find it there. And then it's basically, yeah. So what I did is I took instead of making like a big like multi-$1,000 course on how to teach somebody the things that I think are important, on how to teach somebody how to become a full-time content creator, I have all of that information. I'm creating like a community with it, so that way it'll be like just $35 a month. So that way, if people want to get access to all the things and then dip, like that's cool too. But then like I'm going to be providing like weekly live calls. The stuff is going to be constantly updated, and it's going to be a place for people to be able to like network with people who have similar goals as them. And I think it's going to be something that's super accessible, super beneficial, tons of value. And I'm just so excited to finally be getting this out. And so, yeah, you can peep enochsgarden.net for to anybody who's interested.
ENOCHSGARDEN.com.
Yeah. You can peep it right now if you guys want. It's up. Don't fill anything out because I don't have everything set up, but you can type, dude, it's so cool. You can type in enochsgarden.net and then it'll take you to, enochsgarden.net. Yeah.
Ooh, it's nice.
You think it's clean?
I like it. It's simple. It's simplistic, but it's good.
Thank you. Dude, I'm so excited. All right, Finn, let's hear it.
So, I mean, dude, mine wasn't going to be anything crazy. I think, I was just going to say that I took I asked her to go out and she said yes. So I think that was,
Let's go!
Yes, chill.
Says he's not going to do anything crazy and then drops the bombshell. Let's go. A young player out here, Finnicus out here, a young respectable suitor looking to engage one woman at a time.
That's right.
That boy Finnicus.
That's right.
Benici.
That's right. I will wholeheartedly agree with that one, E. But yeah, she's pretty cool. But that's all I'm gonna say. I guess that's my heart to heart is I took a leap of faith this week. I think it's good if you're listening and you're like, I should ask that girl out. You should do it. So good luck.
Finn, we got to get you on Grab My Bachelor, bro. We got to get you on, bro.
Me and Kyle.
Got to get you on. I need you to talk to Kyle and Chris because they are down tremendous. I need you to give them that lesson. The more they hear it from me, they don't listen. I need you to hop on and be like, hey, bro, just do it.
I just need to come on there anyway. Just hang out anyway.
Just chill. I like that's we
should have a crossover episode.
We need a crossover, bro. You need to talk to him, bro. No, dude,
yeah, we actually should do that. I'm not even kidding.
Just
we actually should do that.
Me and Finn both show up.
You're just listening to like 5 of Brian's takes. Enoch just leaves the room. He's like, I can't handle this, bro. I can't. No, dude, that's awesome. That's super exciting.
Yeah, that's.
How'd you ask? How'd you ask though? Was it just like
I went up to her at church, tapped her on the shoulder. I said, "Hey, do you wanna go on a date?" And she said yes.
Oh, just straight up like that?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, there was like a lot of people that were wanting me to ask her out, and like she was like aware of me potentially like that she was aware of a lot of people wanting me to ask her out, but I didn't want to ask her out because other people wanted me to ask her out. Like I wanted to ask her out because I was interested in her and like wanted to do that, right? And we follow each other on social media, so I could have just like simply Instagram message, gone the easy route, like, ask her out on there or get her phone number, but I felt like she deserved the respect of like me asking her out in person. So that's what I did.
Beautiful, man. We love it. We love to see it. And that's the perfect note to end on. Another great episode in the books. Shout out to Nocturnal once again. Great interview with Nocturnal. Don't forget to click the link down below, ladies and gents, if you want to go ahead and follow along with all of our other content. We're going to add some other stuff in there. Like we got to add in Enoch's Garden in there, 100%. We're going to add in some more links so you guys can follow along with all of that stuff, make it easier, more accessible for you guys to hop along, say hello, follow along, all that good stuff. It'll be in the link down below. You can also click that link and join our Discord to have more conversations, find some teammates, whatever it may be. Go ahead and go click that link. You'll find it all there. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Apex the Podcast. We'll catch you guys next week for another show. See you.